Heart of the Koran by Lex Hixon is the sort of book that is a bigger version of what I've been trying to do every year for years, is to take selections on Al-Quran and try to convey of the meaning of the context beyond just being a translation. Now, in my context, I go over my experience, and he talks about his experience both before and after being known as Sheikh Nur al-Jarari. Some of the ways that the Sufis phrase things, it's not going to be understood immediately, because they do believe that we are not God, or we are not gods. It's just you can't be separated from God. In the main part, the meditations on Quran, there are selections for every single suwar. And while it doesn't contain every ayat of the suwar, it gives a fair idea of the feeling, the emotion, the action, and the spiritual side of what Al-Quran is supposed to invoke in its practitioner. The preface reminds us that Islam is not something particular to an individual who received its form for this era. It's not about a particular climate or land or ancestry. It's a continually progressing surrender to divinity. Then we get into how time starts and ends, some examples of what is meant by the prophets and why Prophet Muhammad. As a side note, if you include Ahmed, Muhammad is only mentioned 5 times so explicitly in Al-Quran, and other prophets, like who people call Jesus, although the Muslims only believe in the Messiah part, Moses and Abraham are named more. We have religious duties. We have reflecting outside of those religious duties. We have mystical ways. We have things that refer to getting along with people of other faiths, and that those who repent and develop, or who stay good, those are made distinct. Now, that specific thing isn't given, I would say, the best of examples in terms of that issue. And the mystical teachings selections are also not so literal. The Quran does definitely make the point that people of scriptures previously didn't preserve their scriptures, and some can be trusted, some can't be trusted, and it basically calls everybody out to culpability. But it doesn't say, it's not as clear that in this book that Islam is not a new religion. Sheikh Muzaffar taught Lex Hixon that there are many layers of meaning of Al-Quran. Certainly we can all agree on the literal meaning, as much as that might be distorted in translation. And certainly the beauty of things, it's like there's stuff kind of like dubstep, but not, more comfortable, right? It's not, oh, you just blast the volume and then make a bunch of sounds. It's, no, you kind of have that break in the beat and changes and kind of carrying something along so you can, you miss a lot of that stuff. And you miss a lot of the implications because some stuff doesn't sound the same in some languages. There's the difference between haqiqah, the way of truth and reality, and the Sharia. The Sharia can be considered as the outer shell, which is the discipline that connects all the believers. I mention material and psychological culture because that's certainly something where you find difference between people, and that's okay. We can all be inflecting of the same teachings. That's why there's so much cohesion in the Islamic world as far as the basic practices, to the point where you get Shia and Sunni and Abadi and Sufi and some other groups you never heard of. They can lead each other in the main things, the 5 daily prayers and all that stuff. We can think of the paradise and the hellfire, as we're going to call it in English. They are things that aren't just mere rewards and punishments. They can go beyond that. And certainly, people are fully culpable, and God is more merciful than even exacting, right? And a bad afterlife, well, that's as a dream that deals with the breaking with the reality. Of course, you can't escape the reality, but you know what I mean, this consciousness thereof. There are more names than just a particular 99 list. And the reflection of the verses, the deep meditation on them, the use of them in the rituals and such like Hajj, breaks through to experiences of the particular psychological and even spiritual realms. These spiritual experiences can be used to confirm the verses for oneself, to guide you to the particulars of your life. But one of the things that is one of the particulars is the very fact that the prophetic teachings are practical for every time and place. Now, people are going to say, well, if you don't have the means, you don't have the means. So that sort of thing is not the thing. And as far as our outer deeds, the Sharia is concerned, well, if we do them, then that's fine. They're accepted. Of course, we need the right intention. We're not individuals that are out there to show off. It's about our connection to divinity. We can have in mind some sort of benefits and confirmation through the lower worlds. We call that faith and knowledge. Every person can have awakened in them a sense of the prophetic vision. Personally, the material existence is something to maintain. It's something that's from and merged with the spiritual. The cures for the ailments are whatever you're supposed to do in life or not do. The reasons are there. Now, sometimes you don't automatically know them. It's like you could decide, hey, this isn't right. And of course, it goes beyond ethics into morals. The reflection on the start and end of humanity has its purpose. And you'll understand more of this as you go over these issues and think deeply on them, and how divinity, we may know divinity through the forms, through the names and qualities, whichever one you prefer, or maybe there's some other term that you think of. But even the best of names, there's that essence. And there gets to be a time where there's direct awareness of the spiritual realms, or direct belief, and you're kind of just in the mode. Maybe you don't have that spiritual experience, but you mentally go into these modes. Islam in this era can be thought of as summary and clarification of what remains or what is said about religion prior to Prophet Muhammad. But Muhammad is not an inventor of Islam. Islam is a life about caring about all creation. It's truly religious in the sense of it regulates that relationship to source. It is a life of family. It is a life of the full engagement in humanity. As you see, the names do not quite line up, except 108 there. They reflect that there is an order in Al-Quran that doesn't let you skip over certain things, that brings up types of issues over and over again in different ways as one great song that's more than just a ritual or study life. The blessed in life become the blessed in death. Some gestures might not be as readily understood, but they are a dramatization of what Nur al-Jurari could.